Good morning. I would like to share with you our vision about warehousing, how we see the future. I'm in Adastra for about 15 years. I, with our colleagues, went through many data warehousing initiatives from very small ones to huge enterprise data warehouses. And I would like to share our vision here. Do you know these faces? Usually, when I think about data warehouse, they came into my mind. The first one from the left, Bill and Mon, as the father of data warehousing. The next one, Ralph Kimball, for his education, for his efforts to make data warehouses fast and understandable. And the last one, Honza Mrazek, for his efforts in Adastra to bring data warehouses to our clients, especially in North America. Nowadays, there is a rise of new technologies like AI, advanced analytics, cloud computing, artificial intelligence in general, but also analytics of real-time data stream, and so on and so on. And people can wonder, does the data warehouse still has a place in modern applications or not? In the end of this session, we would answer this question. But first, let's have a look on what the data warehouse really is. Apart of technologies, although they are very important in data warehousing, there are also other aspects like how to analyze the data, how to model the data, how to process them through layers of data warehouse with utilization of tools for data mappings, modelings, metadata management, and so on. And important is also knowledge. We need in our initiatives people who has great business knowledge from that industry, and of course proper processes and government in place. We can say that data warehouse is foundation of quality decisioning, and it is a platform for key. It is platform for key analytical processes. If we look at the architecture of modern data management or Lambda architecture, we have several interconnected components. Let's start from the bottom. We have something called ingestion layer, which takes data from sources and provides them for further processing. We have basically two options. One is to take the data batch by batch, and we are processing data typically on daily basis or hourly basis. And the other option is to take the stream of the data in the real time. On top of that, we have something called serving layer, which is typically implemented as a data lake. And together with these layers, they provide data for further processing. On the left side, we have a data warehouse with this internal structure. This is of course very simplified. On the right side, we have data analytics components, and this covers things like predictive analytics, AI, exploration of data, and so on and so on. These data analytic components usually takes data from data warehouse component as well as data lake or serving layer, and all together provide data for reporting for different downstream applications for different consumers. If we take this picture simplistically, there are two crucial components here, and one is a data warehouse and the other is a data lake. Both coexist in this architecture nicely, and they serve specific use cases. So let's have a look what use case is addressed by which component. Let's start with data warehouse. Typically, data warehouse serves very well reporting different reporting requests like financial, regulatory, statutory, and other types of reporting. And data warehouse serves very well also different kind of analytics requirements. Many dashboards and reports with interactivity with the end user. On the other hand, data lake is perfect, for example, for serving the customer, for digital marketing, or for processing the real-time data, AI, and so on and so on. It's important to mention that this is nothing which is set into the stone. This is rather some kind of guideline how to approach when we are solving a specific use case. From technology perspective, traditional data warehousing were mainly, it is here in the end, in the last column. They were built on traditional relational databases like Oracles and MySQLs and DB2s and technologies like that. Usually with ETL tools like Informatica, ODI, and the others. Stream processing typically was limited, and from reporting perspective, different tools were used. With the rise of big data, of course, Hadoop ecosystem comes into the light, and there are many components. Really, this is a set of technologies. For data warehousing, we typically use Hive and Impala. They are stored on HDFS. And the important one for analytics is, of course, Spark. And then we have the clouds. There are three main players in the market, especially in this region. I mean, Central Europe. Azure, of course, AWS and cloud. All those providers are well prepared for data management, warehousing, and these modern data management applications. They well cover all typical functionalities, which you can see here. What is interesting that for example, for advanced analytic, Databricks seems like a standard. All those technologies or providers come with this component. For warehousing and storage, each provider has its own solution. When we are talking about cloudification efforts, there are different levels of this cloudification, infrastructure, platform, and software. But let's start with traditional legacy, I would say a legacy approach, when everything is installed and maintained on premises. In this case, a customer have to take care about everything like data centers, securities, all aspects of the system have to be managed by the customer. The first step, and usually this is also the first initiative by many customers if they want to go to cloud, is to take the advantage of infrastructure as a service. In this case, customer does not need to take care about the storage, data centers, and so on and so on, and focus more on operating system, database, and application itself. For data warehouse, of course, we would still need to patch the operating system and database with new releases and take care about the security. But this is a good step forward. On the other hand, platform as a service, this is something which brings, I would say, more fruit. A lot of efforts are managed directly by the cloud provider, and a customer takes care about the application in data warehousing, the data warehouse. And very good examples of these technologies are Azure Synapse Analytics or Amazon Redshift. There are, of course, others, but I like to emphasize these two. And the last step is, for example, technology Snowflake, when really the technology is a software as a service, and this is valid for data warehouse. Usually, this does not happen immediately, and it takes some time, and there is simply the transition period. And during this period, the architecture is hybrid. We have some components which are on premises, some are in the cloud as the infrastructure, some as a software. But we think that this is only partial thing, and everything would in the end result in the cloud. For data warehousing, there is also one very critical aspect. Lots of effort is invested into automation, or in general in management of mappings and how the data are transformed from one layer to the other. And if we take into account the fact that current market is under heavy, current IT labor market is under heavy pressure, the automation is very important. We went in Adastra through a long process of evolution of data integration, automation, or ETL automation. Some 20 years ago, we started with a semi-automated solution with simple scripts, and with generation to generation, the tools were more complex and covered other use cases. For example, in 2015, we started with generator adele. This generator is multi-platform, business rule-driven. There is a lot of automation capabilities, but still, this solution has one I would say issue. It is dependent on a third-party solution when it comes to entering the metadata or keying the metadata into the databases or into the system itself. And after intensive research, we went to conclusion that there is not good mapping tool on the market. So we decided to bring our solution, and this is called Adele 2.0. So what are the typical issues with legacy mapping tools? Usually, collaboration is problematic. and people need to synchronize those metadata, and this is a really painful process. A lot of effort is wasted here. Usually graphical user interface is not intuitive. When you have new people on board, the onboarding process takes a long time, and simply it is not ideal. On the other hand, this new solution, this brings a lot of or address a lot of these issues. For example, parallel editing and real-time updates. This is of course in place. Powerful search capabilities, support for the whole process from the business analysis to the mapping and generation and validation of metadata, which was entered by data analysts and other functionalities. This solution is also ready for cloud as well as on premises, because we see it currently important that some initiatives are already in cloud, some are still on premises. Okay, so we try to estimate what could be the savings with this solution, and we went to conclusion that maybe 20 to 30% could be the overall development cost could be reduced by 20 to 30%, and I think this is quite good. There is of course need some knowledge how to use the tool, and the processes should be great, but this is something which can improve current project, current initiative really much. Okay, so let's go back to our question. What do you think? Is data warehouse going to be extinct? I would say that definitely not. The data warehouse isn't dead. It's important. It has important place in modern data management architecture. I think it nicely coexists with data lakes. It well serves specific use cases, especially those ones which are maybe business critical or are related to regulatory requests. And I would say in the end that the legacy of Inmon and Kimball is still vital and important. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lubo. I think we can move on to our Q&A session. So please, everyone, ask your questions in the Q&A section below. So we'll start with the first one. Why is there no ODS in the modern data management architecture?
Okay, that's a great question. With technologies like data lake, we can cover a lot of these typical use cases covered by traditional ODS, operational data stores, like integration of application in real time, and in general, real time or near real time integration can be covered by ODS.
Okay, thank you. And our next one. Our company is considering to switch to data lake and data marts on top of it and abandon traditional data warehouse. Is this a good idea? Can we miss some functionality that we had before?
I think in general, we still recommend to keep data warehouse, but and mainly in heavily regulated industries. But there are situations like, for example, e-commerce, internet business, or other businesses, and maybe for them, I can imagine that the data warehouse or traditional data warehouse it's not so important. but it's not so simple answer, and we would recommend to do some kind of assessment to figure out what are typical use cases for what you want, and then we usually provide more accurate recommendations.
Okay, thank you. Next one. What if our ETO platform is Informatica? Can we use Adele 2.0?
Great question. Yes, you can use it, or we can use it. Adele is a multi-platform solution, and to integrate with other ETL solution like Informatica, we need a specific plugin for this. And fortunately for Informatica, we already have. So yes.
Mm-hmm. Next question. Which direction Adele 2.0 will be developed? Is there a product roadmap to be shared?
There is a roadmap. We have three focus areas. First one is to extend the number of these plugins I mentioned in the previous question. We want to be ready to integrate with other integration platforms. This is one area. We want to improve the user experience, because there is a lot of efforts there. Data mappers, data analysts need to be very efficient, so we do not waste resources on our projects. And the last one is cloudification, to be really 100% cloud ready.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, do you or Adastra recommend to move on-premise data warehousing to cloud in banking industry? Which factors needs to be considered for decision, and which is the recommended target platform?
I would start from the end. The target platform, I think all those providers which were mentioned, I mean, Azure, AWS, and Google, all are ready for data warehouse in cloud. So it's up to your decision preferences, or if you already have something in place or have people with knowledge. So from this perspective, I would say each one is okay. For banking industry, I partially touched this. It is. I think it is okay, and many banks already started this initiative, and maybe I would say, or to be frank, that banking industry is overtaken by the other, like for example automotive industry or telco industry, but probably also the banks would start with applications like digital channels and stuff like that. Maybe warehouses or data integration platforms could follow, and core banking system maybe would be the last ones. But yes, I would recommend it.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, what is the subscription model for Adele 2.0 tool?
Okay, great question. There are several aspects which impact the price, like the complexity of the architecture, number of plugins need to be on place, and other aspects. Please contact us or send us email later, and we can follow up this directly one-to-one.
Okay, great. The next question is, which cloud data warehousing do you recommend for an enterprise company in the retail industry?
Again, I think all offerings are great, and I would rather say that the important aspects are the knowledge of the people you already have. or if you already have some application which are integrated with some platforms. So this is maybe more important when you are considering a specific cloud platform. So I think all those mentions are well also for retail industry.
Okay, thank you. If we already have data lake solution in place, how could we benefit from building data warehouse solution?
Great. I think I would need to know much more if you are to provide you with a better answer. Like what is the complexity of this data lake currently, and which industry it is, if it is heavily regulated or not, what kind of reports, frequency of those reports and analytics you need to provide, and so on and so on. Maybe you can be okay also with data lake and maybe extend it with some functionalities, or it would be good to add components related to the traditional data warehousing things, but they are usually connected to this highly regulated things which have to be accurate, where you need, for example, data lineage. Each attribute to track the data path for each attribute from the sources to the targets, to report how it was calculated and so on. In such situation, it's great to have a data warehouse with all processes.
Thank you for answering these questions, and thank you for your presentation. Afterwards, I don't think anyone would doubt that data warehouse would be dead anytime soon.